What's going on, everybody? It's Sasha, your licensed real estate market expert here in Charlotte, and it is time for our monthly market report. And I do have some good news for the buyers out there. We are slightly starting to shift towards buyers having the upper hand. Once we dive into the data, I'm going to explain this a little bit more, but we're seeing these changes in real time. Some of these stats, like some other market reports that I've done, I personally didn't see the correlation with what the stats are saying and what's actually happening in real life. And in real life right now, I'm seeing a lot of buyers get the upper hand when it comes to a lot of situations. Again, there are still plenty of homes that are getting those multiple offers, but for the most part, buyers are starting to gain that slight edge, which is saying a lot because our inventory is still relatively low, and I think we're gonna keep accumulating. And you guys know it is my favorite buying season right now, fall and winter. So I'm hoping these deals can get even better for a lot of people as we're going through the fall and winter. Now, before we hop into the stats, I wanna talk to you really quick. Interest rates, they're around 6.25 or so. But one of the things, one of my viewers, RJ Spain, we go back and forth. He's an appraiser here in Charlotte, North Carolina area. He sent me an email and he said, Sasha, I've done 6 pre-foreclosure appraisals in the last 2 weeks. I don't remember the last time I've done one. It's been at least 10 years or so. And what he's saying is starting to correlate with what I'm seeing. I'm definitely seeing an uptick in foreclosure sales. Now, this isn't some big jump, but comparing it to a couple of years ago where it was almost impossible to find some of these foreclosures, now you're starting to see them week in and week out, which is very interesting and something everybody should be paying attention to. Another thing that I'm starting to notice is a buyer and seller mind shift change. Here's what I mean by that. A lot of buyers, just like everybody else, we all want a good deal when it comes to a house. But I'm seeing buyer mindset start to shift in regards to, hey, this house just came on the market. It's been on the market for less than a week. I want to offer $30,000, $40,000 below the listed price. And something that I've learned over the years is you cannot overcome emotion with fact, logic, and reason. Even though all of the comparable sales in the neighborhood are around 500,000, people don't care. They want that deal. Otherwise, they're just gonna wait and find someone that's willing to give them that deal. I'm personally experiencing this. However, you are having some luck with that in certain situations. I just got a buyer under contract. House was on the market for 3 days, and we got a really good deal here in South Carolina. Now, sellers are also having that mindset shift, and they're starting to understand that we are not in the same market that we were a couple of years ago. A lot more houses now are being priced more aggressively, and even certain things like old HVAC, old roof, old flooring, old paint, you're starting to see when they put these houses on the market, they're already starting to give credits out of the gate to the potential buyer. Hey, we're offering $10,000 in regards to flooring and paint. We're offering you a credit for the roof, a credit for the HVAC, and that is helping negotiations and things like that go a lot smoother, especially during the inspection process. However, all around, I'm seeing the slight edge start to go to buyers for the traditional homes. You still have those unique, very high in-demand properties that are still selling relatively fast, and the sellers still have that upper advantage over the buyer. But for the most part, the buyers are starting to get that slight edge. Now, with that being said, prices are still remaining relatively stable, and we are actually seeing upticks year over year. However, we are down from our all-time highs as the seasons change. Now, moving on, a recent article came out by Realtor.com, and it's showing the 22 states that are in or near a recession. Some others that are treading water, and then others that are in the expansion phase. Taking a look at the chart here, you can see all the ones that are in red are recession, high risk, green is expansion, and then yellow are places that are treading water. You can see that North Carolina and South Carolina are in that expansion phase. The growth has not really slowed down. And when we take a look at the data, you're going to see that there's still a lot of activity. The prices are remaining relatively stable, and things are still moving in the right direction in North and South Carolina. Now, with that being said, this is something I want to show you. So please, these next 2 to 3 minutes, please pay attention because I want to show you what I'm talking about as far as buyers having that edge in the market in regards to getting deals. So right now, guys, I'm pulling up a map and I want you guys to see what is happening. So this map that you're seeing right here, this is a 15-mile radius from Center City, Charlotte. So we're covering places like Ballantyne, covering places like Indian Trail, Huntersville, Mount Holly, Belmont, Harrisburg, etc. So when we come back here to the criteria, you're looking at coming soon listings, active listings, under contract listings, under contract no-shows. These last two are houses that are pending. They've already accepted an offer and they're waiting to close. You can see at the bottom there's 5,000 plus properties that fit all that criteria. Now when we go here and take out the ones that have pending offers, we are left with coming soons and actives. Single family condos and townhouses brings us to 4,552 available units that are active and pending. Now we're going to go to the bottom here. This is what I want to show you. 50 plus days on market. We're at 2,284 versus 4,522. So this is almost half of the houses in that 15-mile radius have been on the market for 50 plus days. Now let's check 100 plus days. Then we go to half of that, 1,178 homes that have been on the market for 100 plus days. Now let's go one up. Let's go 150 plus days. You have 619 townhouses, single family, and condos that have been on the market for over 150 days. Sasha, these are probably all multi-million-dollar houses. Well, let's take a look. Going into the results, yes, you have 7 million and everything like that, but we have 25 pages of places to go to. So let's go ahead and jump to page number 7. Page number 7, $725,000 and under. Next, even getting into the 500s, high 500s to mid 5s. As you can see, guys, look at all of these houses. These are all single family. These ones here are townhouses. But take a look at this. Look at these houses. All of these are new construction right here. 153 days on market. 619 different options with over 150 days on market. You mean to tell me that you can't get $10, $20, $30, $40,000 off the listed price of some of these homes? They've been sitting for a long time. They've sat through the buying season of summer, and now we're heading into winter, and a lot of these houses are going to be 200 plus days unless you're able to come in and get that great deal for yourself. I hope this puts it in a little bit better of a perspective why I'm trying to tell you that the buyers are starting to gain that slight edge. As we go over the data, I anticipate days on market in the coming months is going to go even higher. And what is that going to do to these numbers? They are also going to go even higher. And eventually we're going to get to that point where you're going to have to start seeing those price reductions all across the board. That's when you start to see the average sales price and the median sales price start coming down all around the board, 5, 10, 15%. But again, you don't need to wait to get those reductions on a house as long as you're looking at the right criteria. Now let's hop into the data and take a look at the actual numbers, starting with new listings. New listings came in at 4,993. That's a 5.3% increase from this time last year. So as the houses are sitting on the market a lot longer, we're building that inventory and the new listings keep coming. However, don't forget, the interest rates were just over 7% and 7.25% a couple of months ago. Now that interest rates have gone down essentially almost a full percent, we're seeing more buyer activity start to take place. And I think more buyers will take advantage of the fall and winter season. With that being said, let's take a look at pending sales. Pending sales came in at 3,731, and that's a 13.4% increase from this time last year. Taking a look at the 2 years prior, we had negative 8.8 plus 6%, and now we're in the positive double digits. This is telling us that the buyers that were on the sidelines, now with the rates coming down, now with the more inventory, now with more options, they are actually starting to take a look at these houses and starting to write offers. So we still have more pending sales than we do new listings. However, our inventory has grown to a manageable amount. So we're still seeing that activity. And again, the buyers are taking advantage of all the new listings. If you are driving anywhere in and around Charlotte, take a look at all the for sale signs, all the open house signs, all the estate sale signs that you're seeing. 3 years ago, for one house, you had 20, 30 different buyers. Now you have multiple houses for sale in each of these communities. And if a buyer doesn't like something, they're waiting for the next one to pop up unless they can get that really good deal on it. Next up, we have days on market, which came in at 53. That's a 35.9% increase from this time last year. Steadily since 2023, which was when the market started to shift, we're having these big increases, 25+% increases in regards to days on market. And please pay attention to these graphs as well. If you're looking here, you see the trajectory of where we are headed. We are heading upward in regards to days on market. And if you take a look at 2016 to 2020 and the middle of 22, the same trajectory that we were heading down in days on market is roughly the same as we are going back up. In the next couple of months, I definitely see average days on market being 60 to 80 like we did in 2016 time. And again, those houses that have been sitting for a very long time, they're going to continue to sit even longer unless some price reductions start to take place. Speaking of price, average sales price came in at $505,000. That's a 1.3% increase from this time last year. 2 years prior, we had higher digits, but again, we hit new all-time highs in regards to average and the median sales price this past year. There's not too much more it can go unless the interest rates come down drastically and then you have a pool of buyers just flooding the market, which nobody wants. We want the interest rates to stay stable so we can get into a more balanced market, and then they can do whatever they want with the rates, but we have to have enough inventory to take care of all of the buyers that are out there. One quick note in regards to average sales price, we are down $27,000 from our all-time high that we had this past June. Now moving into median sales price. Median sales price came in at $397,000. That's a 0.9% increase from this time last year, and we are down roughly about $18,000 from our all-time high of $415,000. As you can tell from the pricing, this is why Charlotte is still a stable market. And referring back to that article on Realtor.com, it's an expansion market. We still have a ton of demand. We still have a lot of people moving to the area, and we are in that expansion phase. Charlotte is a desirable area, and that is why the prices are still remaining stable across the board. You can still get those deals. I'm beating a dead horse. You can still get those great deals out there, but for the most part, when you take the entire market and the prices, they are remaining relatively stable, and we're not seeing anything out of the ordinary when you're looking at everything across the board. Next up is percentage of the original list price received, and this is an extremely important stat. It came in at 95.1, and that is a minus 1.2% decline from this time last year. Guys, this is telling you that on average, you can expect to pay almost 5% below the listed price of a home. This is a big deal. And again, make sure you are looking at these graphs. The last time we had something like this was at the tail end of 2022, 2023, but before that, it was 2016 where you were able to get almost a 5% price reduction under the original asking price. One thing that I said in one of my videos a while ago is I said it's going to take years for the market to correct. It didn't start correcting now. It's been correcting since 2023. So we are almost 3 years into the making, and depending on what the economy does and things like that, we could be looking at another 1 to 2 years where we have those reductions all across the board in regards to the average sales price and the median sales price. However, a lot of these stats, a lot of what I've showed you is showing that buyer edge. So what's going to happen if inventory continues and people have even more options? Well, prices should come down. Last but not least, months of inventory came in at 3.3. That is a 13.8% increase from this time last year. Again, make sure you are looking at these graphs, looking from 2016 even through 2015. Take a look at the trajectory where it's heading, where we had our lows, and now see it slowly starting to creep back up. The real estate market is not the stock market. It takes time. However, if you're aggressive, if you know where to look, know what criteria, know what area, you don't need to wait for the discounts that so many people seem to be waiting for. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit the like button, call, text, or email me if there's anything I can ever do for you. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.